Thank you for coming.
So there will be some personal questions, some you don't have to answer, but it's all going to be in regards to the book that I'm writing right now. It's in the making. It's called La 21 Edición, a handbook. So let's begin. What is your first full name?
Juancarlos.
Okay. Do you go by a spiritual name?
I know.
No. What is your age?
39 years old.
Okay. Do you identify with a certain race?
Definitely. I'm Dominican, Toronto.
Okay. Where were you born?
I was born in Santiago, Dominican Republic, in 1979.
Beautiful. What is your primary language?
Both.
Both English
and Spanish. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Do you know any other languages?
No, besides those two.
No. Do you understand Criollo or any of the languages of Los Misterios?
Not at all. I understand some words and how they use it, but I can't speak it fluently or anything.
Okay. What is your status in the hierarchy? Are you initiate, bautizado, caballo, servidor?
I'm more like a servidor. My mom is a caballo. My father is a plaza, like through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Like he will know everything about. But me, I'm just serving. I just practice, but I'm not.
Okay. What does being a servidor mean to you?
Being a servidor would be more for me, for myself. It's just practicing and keeping your culture, keeping your traditions alive. The good thing and the bad thing about this religion, in my opinion, is the passing down of information. Is passed down as a tradition. So the bad thing is that nothing is written down. Nothing is. So this is great that this project is being done, because we need something actual, text that I can give to anybody, not just my family, but other people. So me, to be in a servidor, is somebody that actually practice it. You don't have to be a caballo de Minterio, you don't have to be a plaza, you don't have to be one of the hierarchy. Just anybody. Is a beautiful religion. Anybody that comes and pays tribute to it, and actually do servicios and light the candles. I think that's a servidor. Like, you serve the 21 División and you harness the power to do something with it.
Right. Do you believe that race has anything to do with being able to serve the Loa?
I hope not. I hope that's not a prerequisite that you have to be a certain race. But you'll find that since it comes down, again, it's the bad thing and the good thing is passed down from family member to family member, or maybe sometimes some neighbors would teach you, but you'll find that within the 21 División, usually our backgrounds from Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, Cuba, and some type of mixture of African. But unfortunately right now you find that it has to do with some race. Hopefully we open enough to bring any race to just, again, it's a beautiful religion, so hopefully everybody can enjoy it.
Right. What are the pros and cons of sirviendo lo misterio?
Well, the pros are infinite. If you serve your misterios, if you keep your energy and line and todo the puntos the way it's supposed to, then you receive all the blessings that are promised to us, either through traditional religion or through la 21 División. Being a hijo of a certain loa, you are promised certain attributes and certain blessings. So the positive is that, like, if you take care of your miterio, you're gonna receive all the blessings that are meant for you. But the negative is you become overwhelmed by normal day-to-day things, and they become spiritual. And that we have to find a balance. I found myself in that predicament where in the business that I own, if things are going slow, it's like, oh, me están haciendo algo, and that type of thing. And I find myself that I have to check myself, and it's the middle of the summer. People, don't like candles, so it's very hot. You know what I mean? Like, make sense of the real world, what it is. So I think that's a negative. Maybe it's not a negative for a lot of people, but for me it's a negative, to keep that balance between what is the spiritual world and what is reality. You have to pay rent and you have to do things. So all the blessings on one hand and the positive, and the negative is just sometimes you do get overwhelmed with all the most important negative thing that I can say is the hearsay. Somebody believes that something is done a certain way, and then somebody else perceived it because they went through something personal,
Right.
and they see that they think that's the right way. So that is also very confusing for like the non-initiated or somebody that just coming into a religion. I
Right.
wish we can change that.
Right.
In general, like change the religion and be like, this is the way it's done. Something that I'm sorry, I'm going
No,
on,
go
but
on.
I have a lot of
No,
stuff
yes,
to say.
absolutely.
Something that I admire about the Santeria is that it's very organized.
Yes.
Right? So it's this is the tributos and these other things. So you have to pay for these things, and this guy it takes care of that, and that everything is nice and structured, and your initiation is nice and structured. Everything is beautiful. We find that in 21 División that is very personalized. It's very hearsay. Like it's something. If I lived it, if I went through it, I believe it's true, and that's it. Like there's no other way. It's just me. But since nothing is written down, then you have a lot of people practicing the same religion and basis, but very different ways. So that's another negative. I always thought that we need to find a way to like organize our religion, because it's a beautiful thing to practice. It's amazingly beautiful, but it's not a lot of information. So that's a negative, the lack of information, just passing down and not having a structure to bring people that are from different, like you mentioned before, different races that can actually enjoy, like come and initiate under 21 División. That would be beautiful.
Yes. It would, because it also ensures the survival of the culture and the village.
Yes, we're losing so much.
Yes.
We're losing a lot. We're losing. Every day somebody comes here that either practice Mesa Blanca or practice Sensei or this, that, and in 21 División they die. And when they die, we lose all that. We lose all that information, all that knowledge is lost, because maybe the kids of that person don't want to practice something, and then we lose that in the community itself. So a lot of things are being lost every day. Like somebody else that either come here or that we know of se muere, and that's done. Like we need to start like writing these things down.
Right.
I spoke to a person that wrote actually one of the books in the art, well known, and he says that yes, there's a lot of racism to do. There's a lot of racism within Dominican Republic on the subject. So if you're doing a project on La 21 División or anything about loases or even the palo music, they frown upon it, and they don't give enough funds for people to actually do research over there.
Right.
So you find that a lot of these guys that actually have all the information and they're amazing intellectually and they know so much about it, they can't write anything because there's no backup. So they will write it just because they don't find some passion about what they believe, but there's nothing. It's
Like
all
the community.
cultural stuff, man. Like we're losing our identity.
Right.
And that's just sad.
Yeah.
Let me not get into that.
So let's go backtrack to when you first said one of the pros was if you are serving the misterio by their puntos. Can you explain to the people that are listening what a punto is?
So a punto will be the elements that identify that loa. Like in Wicca, you identify colors, smells, all types of different elements with sounds. So, for example, a 21 División ceremony, if you're gonna do it the right way, and you have, let's say, a palero, they should tocar Papaleva first. That's the opener. That would be similar to, let's say, El Egua in the that's the opener. Like that's the one that guides the doors between the spiritual world and our world. So we pay tribute to that. So that's the sound, for example, of something that identifies a punto of Papaleva. You can put a CD and make the sound. But those sounds, the way the tambor is played for Papaleva is completely different from other santos. So the colors, let's say Anaísa, she identifies with gold and silver and green. So let's stay there. So the smell, she loves very sweet floral smells. The colors that she likes is gold and green. So a typical puntos for Anaisa would be a statue, obviously a yellow or green color candle and the flowers and some type of perfume. So essentially every loi or spirit has their identity, like their identifiable elements that go with them. So when you do a punto for somebody, you should find what it is and then just go about that. And once you put a punto for a loi, then you should receive the blessings of you actually paying tribute to.
Right.
Hopefully that's the way it works. I think that's the way it works because I experienced it, but maybe somebody has a different.
No. There's no right or wrong here. It's just about your experiences. Do you believe that the Loa punish? And if so, to what extent is the worst punishment that a Loa can perform?
Well, that's another thing. We try to put a lot of the morals values that we get from the Catholic Church into the religion. So it have to be good or bad.
Right.
And like you said right now, there's nothing good or bad. It's just nature. So you find in nature that sometimes things are cruel or are done for the greater good. Things are done for your own good or for the greater good. Things are done the way it's supposed to be done to take care of something. So in that sense, when they say, "Oh, you punish," maybe your punishment or what you're going through is something for your greater good. But I believe there is some type of not punishment. I don't want to use the word punishment, but
a life lesson.
Life lesson. Yeah, exactly. That's perfect because at the end it will lead you to be a better person or to be a better servant or to have a higher development of spiritual level. So definitely, and that you can find in nature all the time. I did an exercise with my son the other day where he was asking me why God or Los Santos punish people, why they die or whatever, and we have a little fish at home, a little bowl, and I was teaching him that when I clean the bowl, I take him out with a little mesh thing, and I put him like in a little cup, and for him, he's dying, like he doesn't have enough oxygen, he doesn't have enough water. At that moment, I'm punishing him. But essentially what I'm doing is cleaning his house or cleaning his area to make a better. But at the moment while the whole process is going, he feels like this is the end of the world. So God, me, who provides for him, is punishing him at that moment. He doesn't know better than I'm actually cleaning and putting more food and whatever.
I like that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful life lesson. So do you believe that culture influences how people work with the law? For example, if someone is coming from a Muslim community, do you believe that they would see the laws, or is it appropriate to serve the laws from a Muslim perspective than from a Dominican perspective?
I don't have a lot of information on how Muslim will actually. I think it goes.
No, well, just more of an example.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is it okay?
Well, I know for a fact that a lot of people that come from different cultures see this in a different light, which is probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. So I have, for example, a good client that he's Jewish through and through. His parents are Jewish. They were observant. He and his siblings are not observant, but somehow, some way, he found himself involved in this whole thing. So he comes and consumes what he believes is okay. Like he's okay. The parts of the religion that he thinks is okay. So they have a belief system within the Jewish. And don't quote me, but this is what he explains to me. They have a belief system within the Jewish community where there is no hell, no nothing like that. But you do get blessings and bendiciones if you do the right thing morally, or you get curses and castigos if you do the wrong thing. So for example, that person finds himself where he is paying tributes to certain santos because he believes that he wants to get blessings through that, and he doesn't want to deal or disrespect the santos because he don't want to get punished. So that's his, that's the way he sees everything, because of his upbringing, like his background and how he sees it. We see it. I think we see it in a little different light than that. But
Right.
yeah, I believe that your background and your exposure to the religion has to do a lot and how you perceive it. You know.
What are some of the symptoms of a real spiritual attack?
That varies so much. There's a lot of variables to it. It starts with a person, I believe. It starts with a person because if the person is messed up spiritually, then either they don't perceive spiritual attacks, or they'll get all confused and say, no, there's nothing going on. Meanwhile, you're being attacked spiritually, right? So it starts with a person. If the person is aligned spiritually, if the aura is clean, if they're, then they can perceive. To break down, like, what will be the symptoms, again, it will vary. It could be as simple as a headache to some people, and they perceive like, oh, I usually don't get headaches or whatever, and now I have a headache. There's something wrong, and they will go to the consulta or whatever. A lot of people dream. They're very in tune with the subconscious, and they believe that the luas speak to them. And that's a very powerful tool that I think a lot of people within the community actually have experience with, is that the luases would communicate through the subconscious and let them know certain things. But again, it's a vast
That's a pool.
Of different things. For everybody's different.
Right.
Some people feel things around their house. They see sombra. They see like different things, or their financials not going well. That's another thing that I think we discard a lot. The whole notion of disturbing the energies. Like sometimes we're okay, or what we perceive that everything is okay, but we want to do something to make it better or something, and then instead of actually making it better, you make it worse because you're disturbing whatever energy is going on. So just symptoms of things, it varies from person to person, from case to case. And
did I get a call?
No.
Oh, okay. Have you ever been a victim of a spiritual attack?
Definitely.
How did you feel, or what did you go through?
What it was specifically, they did something for my sexual drive. I was married with my first wife, the mother of my child, and I went through a period. I was a kid. I was 20-something years old, but I went through a period where I had no sexual drive. And I did all the Viagra's and I did all the medications. I'm serious. I'm being honest.
It's funny,
No, it's fine. It's fine.
funny that you're saying that because my boyfriend goes through that.
Check that. Anyways, so I did all the Viagra. I did all the medical, Western medicine. I was like, what the heck is going on? I have blood pressure problem. Nothing.
You were fine. You were healthy.
I went through my because that's another thing. Coming from my perspective, I always do the real world or the Western medicine first.
The physical.
Because me keeping myself in balance and in check, that I don't want to go directly to just it's a spiritual thing. So I went through the whole thing and nothing. And then somebody just randomly, which I love. Maybe it just happens to me or it happens to everybody. They sent me messages like with random people. When I say they, I'm talking about my Luases and my father Espiritual. Just random people. So somebody just randomly just came into the Botanica. I had the little Botanica next door, like 15 years ago. And that person just went up to me and like, mira, te hicieron algo to do this, and so you can separate from your wife.
What?
I called my parents. They had something for that. I did my baños 3 days.
Gone. Beautiful.
I'm a little rabbit.
Ah!
You know what I mean? Like it was so. I could definitely tell you from my personal experience that I have, and I saw it, and I felt it physically. That I was attacked spiritually. I saw the remedy that I had to do, and the results were like tangible. It wasn't like I wasn't,
Right.
It was very, very. So it's very close to me and very vivid because I can actually feel it physically. It wasn't something that I was seeing in soul, but also something I felt it physically. No type of drive at all. Like hey, my sister.
But you felt like there was something wrong.
Yes.
Right.
It wasn't normal. It wasn't a normal thing. I definitely think like caballos military, whoever are developed like spiritual, they will know right away.
Right.
For me, it's a struggle. Like I have to like force myself to go through all these steps in order for me to get to the bottom line. But I guess for people with like higher spiritual development, they can just send things and be like, okay, you know.
Can you finish it and then re-record?